These sponsors are proud to be associated with the Seven Network's coverage of the 1994 AFL Premiership season.
At Suzanne, we're coordinating great looks for summer from $29. This goes with that at Suzanne.
I've got a perfect driving record, but it makes a hell of a difference to me.
FAI rewards safe drivers with discounts beyond the usual no-claim bonus. Don't get mad, get even. Call FAI 131000.
There need to be some really radical things done. In the Gospels, we actually have the evidence that women were apostles, and that's the reason why they should be seen to be co-workers with men today. Women do need to speak out, and they do need to be heard. It means that the churches have to actually come good about this question of the equality of women before God.
Our city in the springtime. Melbourne City has more. Proudly supported by Melbourne's Channel 7.
Peter Mitchell with 7 Nightly News.
Police shocked by the frenzied stabbing of a 92-year-old widow. A paraplegic man relives a hit-run nightmare, and the AFL launches an investigation into an ugly brawl at Subiaco. Good evening, and first tonight, police have revealed the 92-year-old Wantirna woman attacked in her home was stabbed more than a dozen times by a female intruder. The frail widow, who faked death to escape further injury, waited more than 24 hours for help to arrive. Sally Moore reports.
Police are dismayed by the cruel attack, possibly a robbery gone wrong. On Friday morning, Gladys Lavelle allowed a woman stranger into her Napier Street home, thinking she was a representative from the bank. The woman, in her 30s and dressed in black, immediately attacked Mrs. Lavelle with her walking cane, then stabbed her in the chest and back.
It's beyond me to comprehend why or how one woman can do this to another woman. Certainly it is a very unusual occurrence. The viciousness of this attack is quite astounding. She had not a hope of defending herself against anybody.
Mrs. Lavelle has told police that in the midst of the attack, she decided to play dead in the hope that the intruder would go away. Her ploy worked, but the terrified woman who'd collapsed in her hallway waited more than 24 hours for help. Good friend Desmond Shoppy discovered Mrs. Lavelle when he called to collect her for church yesterday morning. He thought she'd fallen out of bed and couldn't open the front door.
I could hear that she was singing out something, but I could not decipher what she was saying.
Mrs. Lavelle is in a stable condition following surgery.
She expressed to me the view that she was desperate that the police catch the people responsible. She's told me that she doesn't know how she's going to face going back to her own home, and that's atrocious.
Police are appealing for public assistance.
Cowards, nothing else but cowards.
Sally Moore, 7 Nightly News.
A callous hit-run in the city overnight, with police hunting the driver of a car which ran down a disabled man and then sped off. Nicole Chavastek reports.
Jim Zimbitis became a paraplegic at the hands of a hit-run driver when he was just 6 years old. Last night, he says, he relived that nightmare. Around 3 a.m, he was in Lonsdale Street trying to lift himself into his car when he was again struck down, left dazed and bleeding on the roadside.
I was afraid I was going to die just for a second because there's a lot of blood around and I didn't know how badly I was hurt.
A motorist told police he chased the car which hit Mr. Zimbitis, but he said it ran 2 red lights and sped off. Passers-by answered Mr. Zimbitis' screams for help. He was taken to St Vincent's Hospital and received 6 stitches for cuts to his head and hand.
It is important for him or her to have stopped, because could be the difference in another time between life and death.
Police today impounded a green Holden Commodore and say they are retaining it for further investigations. They say it's a miracle Mr. Zimbitis wasn't more seriously injured and have appealed for witnesses to come forward.
Anyone that could identify the vehicle or saw what happened would help the investigation greatly.
Nicole Chavastek, 7 Nightly News.
The Transport Accident Commission tonight launches a new $1 million ad campaign aimed at drink drivers. As Mark O'Brien reports, last weekend's horrific road toll has led to the commercials being rushed to air.
The 11 deaths on Victorian roads last weekend has accelerated a new campaign warning about the dangers of drink driving.
It was an accident. I was drunk. I killed somebody.
The message is that people who drink and drive have to live with the consequences of their actions for the rest of their lives.
Authorities are alarmed by a rise in the numbers of deaths connected to drink driving. Latest statistics show dead drivers with a blood alcohol level over the legal limit has risen by almost 10% compared with the same period last year. Police have already started a new blitz on drink drivers which will run on weekends until Christmas. A key target for the booze buses will be the eastern suburbs, where police have found ongoing problems.
Because there's a hard core of drink drivers out there who need to be hit right between the eyes. Well, I guess there's a lot of problems out there. You've got distance, you've got some of the old beer farms.
The new campaign will also feature billboards posing the question, should you be driving home tonight? The Transport Accident Commission says its ads have halved the road toll since they began in 1989. Mark O'Brien, 7 Nightly News.
Alexander Downer is facing the most crucial day of his brief Liberal leadership tomorrow. He'll release his new direction statement, a move seen as vital to restore his flagging fortunes. John Wiseman reports.
Aborigines, gays, racists, dissidents. After a month's blunders, tomorrow Alexander Downer promises to restore public confidence in the opposition.
It will be perfectly clear to Australians what the coalition stands for, and the details of our policies will release later.
And quiet all too apparent internal tensions.
Liberal split stories have haunted the Liberal Party for a decade, and I'm determined to bring that to an end.
Expected, though, as a generalist statement of Liberal beliefs under 4 themes: boosting jobs, strengthening families, strengthening communities, boosting national pride. It will have to be good, for Alexander Downer cannot afford another League of Rights ruckus or Aboriginal policy ums and ahs. After just 100 days in the job, there's already speculation over the viability of his leadership. His disastrous slide in public opinion is likely to be confirmed by 2 new polls over the next 2 days, a situation the government is eager to exploit.
I don't see how they can keep him, but on the other hand, I don't see how they can get another leader. I mean, it's a real dilemma for the party.
After savaging Mr. Downer this week, Prime Minister Keating flew out to Japan today, saying he keenly awaited Mr. Downer's direction statement. In Canberra, John Wiseman, 7 Nightly News.
And Ansett and Qantas today embarked on history-making flights to Japan. Both airlines have gone all out to service the lucrative Asian market. Ansett's first 747, appropriately called Spaceship, was Osaka-bound, with the route representing the first stage in the airline's international expansion. And yes, it does fly. The Qantas Jumbo, covered in Aboriginal art, left today for Japan's new Kansai airport. The plane will be used to promote Qantas worldwide. And coming up after the break, a weekend away, Birdsville style.
Shot on location in Australia comes the heart-racing movie first.
We're not gonna make it.
Starring Matthew Modine, Jennifer Grey, Jack Thompson and Cliff Robertson.
Cub's right over there. You're in our way.
Wind, 8:30 tonight on 7.
It's Solomon's sensational carpet sellout. Look at this. Luxurious deep pile plush, only $69.50 a metre. Your toes will tell you this is luxury you can afford. But at this price, it just won't last. Nor will this. Heavy-duty Minster cut and loop, limited quantity, only $65 a metre.
Magic carpet.
hurry into your nearest Solomon's Carpet store for these genuine sell-out specials.
Don't you know it's magic?
Back, stay. Now forward, and round, and back, and forward, stay. Back. Now right around, go on, right around. Now back. Good dog, back, turn around.
The Daewoo at $14,000.
Stay.
It handles better than a cattle dog.
Why didn't you stay, boy?
There's nothing you can't do in a Daewoo.
More horror stories from the drought. This time claims some farmers can't afford to buy essential items like toothpaste. But as Sue Stevenson reports, rural communities are coming to their aid.
Sister Gabrielle Foley recently toured country New South Wales and was horrified with what she saw.
One family hadn't had toothpaste for 3 years. They couldn't afford it.
Aware of plenty of similar stories, pharmacists and the Country Women's Association have banded together to provide personal hygiene survival kits.
It's going to just give them a message of we care.
From tomorrow, mail contractors will deliver the bundles to needy families throughout the state's northwest. Meanwhile, the drought has had little effect on the annual Birdsville races, though it was slightly drier than usual. Jockey Steve Hetherington and his mount Saluk emerged first from the dust to take the cup. The town's population of just 100 had swollen to 4,000 for the races, and as every year, there was just one place to go to settle the dust. Sue Stevenson, 7 Nightly News.
Overseas now, and there's been another post-Cold War milestone involving Russia and China. Steve Carey explains.
The presidents of Russia and China have agreed not to target strategic nuclear missiles at each other. It's yet another indication decades of confrontation are close to an end. Thousands of people have rallied in Belfast in support of the IRA's ceasefire announcement. Protestant extremists are being urged to lay down their guns in Northern Ireland, with Britain claiming no secret deal has been done with the IRA to secure the ceasefire. And tribal justice for 2 teenage criminals, Alaskan style. The 17-year-olds who assaulted a pizza delivery man causing permanent eye damage have been banished to remote islands, where they'll spend the next year in solitary confinement. Elders hope they'll use the time to reflect on their crimes.
And if at that time they couldn't be rehabilitated, then we'd try your system.
Steve Carey, 7 Nightly News.
Back home, a group of Melbourne dads celebrated Father's Day today by helping their youngsters launch Child Protection Week. Appropriately, the event kicked off at Collingwood Children's Farm, where there were plenty of activities to keep everyone entertained. Despite the fun, there's a serious message that every child needs a caring family. Part of the Australia-wide campaign aims to educate parents about the dangers and possibly fatal injuries if their babies are shaken. And now for a check of the weekend numbers games. And for a share of the Tats Lotto prize, you'll need these numbers: 17, 24, 3, 1, 41 and 9, with the supplementaries 32 and 39. That makes the Lotto extra numbers 3, 1, 41, 9, 32 and 39. And in Super 66, cross off 7, 8, 5, 9, 3 and 7. And Soccer Pools players will be hoping for 16, 18, 20, 22, 32 and 37, with 10 the supplementary. And now Jim Wilson with Sunday Sport. And Jim, after 6 months, the final 8 is decided.
Oh, it's been a great day, a great finale actually. The jigsaw puzzle has been pieced together, and we'll have details shortly of next week's final action, and that all-in brawl in the West. First, Melbourne displaced Richmond in the 8 with a comfortable win over the Swans at the SCG. The Demons put their recent poor form against Sydney behind them and sealed the 46-point victory with a 7-goal third quarter. David Schwartz was best on ground and kicked 9 goals.
The Richmond side attended a fundraiser at Punt Road, but all eyes were on 7. They needed Sydney to beat Melbourne to stay in the finals race. But the Demons too were fighting for their finals life. Obst gave them a lightning start. Sydney was out to avoid the wooden spoon though, and 2 goals to Darren Creswell kept them in touch. Melbourne's accuracy was telling, and at the first change, they led by 10 points. Martin Pike, though, snapped a beauty early in the second term. Sydney and Richmond were in trouble. But a quicksilver hand pass from Minton Connell to kick it late in the term cut the margin to 14 points, and it was still wide open. Sensing they were in trouble, the Demons went up a gear and again drew away to a 24-point lead. David Schwartz quickly became the difference between the two teams. By the time he'd kicked his ninth, Melbourne's final spot was sealed. And with Gary Lyon marking everything up forward, the two-pronged attack proved quite formidable. Their defence lost one member, Sean White, stopping briefly for a neck massage. It mattered little. The Demons left the ground with a 46-point win and a place in the finals at the expense of Richmond.
The players just thought, finals, and, we don't want to end it, on a sour note today, so it was a great effort.
Sandy Roberts, 7 Nightly News.
Now to that spiteful clash in Perth, and minutes ago the AFL told 7 Nightly News that a full investigation will be carried out into an all-in brawl at Subiaco Oval. Both the Eagles and Footscray risk fines of up to $50,000 each under the AFL's new crackdown on all-in brawls. The Eagles secured top spot with a crushing win over the Dogs. The Bulldogs have never beaten the Eagles in Perth, and after a physical start, the signs weren't good for the Doggies as Ball kicked the Eagles second. Ball kicks a goal! A new look Chris Lewis continued the Eagles' dominance up forward, Grant finally kicking Footscray's first after McIntosh's infringement. But it was the Eagles by 20 points at the first change. Spinks got the West Coast off to a flying start in the